3 days ago, I attended Sheffield United's FA Cup semi-final tie at Wembley against Man City. However, this was no run-of-the-mill Wembley trip for me, as I was invited by Prince Abdullah himself to join him as one of his guests for the day. So let's start from how it came about. If you watch the channel on a regular basis, or even just fleetingly, you'll probably know that after the Prince sent the Sheff United Way a DM praising us on a live video that we streamed, Hal and I invited him onto the channel and he agreed with no hesitation. Now fast forward a year and the Prince confirmed that he was attending the QPR game at Bramall Lane earlier on this season. So he got in touch and asked us if we'd like to meet up, and obviously I jumped at the chance. It was a really nice chat. We spoke about Blades in general, we spoke about individual players, how the season had gone so far, and obviously that heartbreak of the playoffs the season before. We spoke for around 45 minutes and then both went our separate ways. Since the meetup, we've chatted occasionally, and a few days before the FA Cup semi-final, I received a WhatsApp that said, "Would you like to join the Prince as his guest in a box at Wembley?" And what do you think I said? Of course I jumped at the chance again. I'd obviously already got my tickets, so this left me in a little bit of a predicament because I had to then go back to the Prince and say, "I've already got tickets with my dad and my mate, can they come along too?" Which he confirmed was absolutely fine. So we travelled down to Wembley and took in the atmosphere of the box park, which was absolutely incredible, to say the least. Gary Sinclair hosted the event for the Blades fans and was a credit to Sheffield United as always. Also, Tony Agana was there, which was great to see him, and Gary Sinclair got him up on stage. He also got Kevin Gage up on stage too, and after maybe one or two sherbets, he practically got booed off the stage for saying that Man City were going to absolutely batter us. I don't think the fans really disagreed with him, but at the same time, we were in party mode and we just didn't want to hear it. We met absolutely loads of Blades fans and fans of the channel as well that came over and showed their appreciation for what we do. And it really made those lonely 11 PM live stream match reactions after night games all worth it. We then moved on to the box experience itself. And after getting through security and then walking around what seemed to be the whole of Wembley, only to be told that our box was closer going the other way. Not very happy about that one. We eventually arrived at the box with nobody there, but that meant we could take in our surroundings and soak up the atmosphere before anybody came and we had to do networking and stuff with people. Because, I'll be honest, I was like a little kid in that box. I'd never been in a box at Wembley before, and yeah, it was massive compared to the ones at Sheff United or the ones that I've been in at Sheff United. We sat back, chilled out and enjoyed the hospitality. Simon arrived first, who was an absolute top guy. And not just that, he'd already watched some of the channel as well, which helped trying to explain why these three reprobates were allowed over the threshold to this incredible world. Next to arrive was mine and your favourite Blades Twitter accountant, Darren Smith, and my mate Ewan said to him straight away, "You're Darren Smith from Twitter, aren't you?" Ewan. As always, Darren was great fun and Simon was too, and I got to sit next to Simon for the entirety of the game. Then the Prince arrived with his friends and family, which included Blades chairman 𝗍𝗫𝗍 And talking to Yusuf is always a pleasure. Now, I know what this sounds like. It sounds like I'm buttering them all up, but I'm just somebody who takes everybody at face value and they're just all really nice people. Prince Abdullah was very, very welcoming, and when he came over and spoke to my dad, it was a really, really surreal moment to say the least. He asked us all what the score was going to be against West Brom. I said 2-1 Blades. My mate Ewan said 2-0 Blades, and my dad said 1-0 Blades, and he sided with my dad. So obviously the Prince prefers a no-nonsense 1-0 win with a lovely old clean sheet. A lot of people watching this right now, and some may have already commented this, did you ask him about the takeover? Now, I've been bombarded with messages about the takeover and what did the Prince say about the takeover. He did give me a brief insight into it. However, I do not feel like it's fair to divulge that sort of information when he may not want me to share it. But I'll just go with the sort of thing that Darren Smith said on Twitter, which is everything will become clearer in the coming weeks. We also had a really long discussion about Fantasy Premier League, and I can confirm he is very good. And if he was actually in the Sheff United Way League, looking at his points, he would be in the top 5. And that is very good going. As you can see, this is where I am in the Sheff United Way League. I'll try my best to see if I can get him in the league next year. Now back on to talking about the FA Cup semi-final, and he was slightly disappointed by the defeat after the game. But he did say over and over again how proud he was of the lads when I spoke with him and Yusuf after the game. So all in all, what a day, what an experience. And all in all I can say is thank you very much to Prince Abdullah for his hospitality. Like I said at the start of the video, this is something that I am positive I will never ever get the chance to do ever again. Absolutely everything was brilliant, from the drive down there, absolutely fine, didn't get stuck in any traffic whatsoever. The box park, like I said earlier, was phenomenal. I will be going back there 100%. It won't be as good because it's the Blades fans that made it, but it was such a great venue. Then obviously going on to the incredible hospitality. Yeah, the result wasn't what we wanted. And the drive home was an absolute nightmare. But other than those two things, what a day. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I recorded a slightly emotional match reaction immediately after the game at Wembley. If you haven't watched it already, make sure you do so straight after this video. I've been able to take a step back and realise how incredible it was to get to another FA Cup semi-final whilst being outside the top flight. And let's be honest, it was always going to be practically impossible to beat the best team on the planet, in my opinion. And after watching the Man United-Brighton semi-final the day after, I was looking at that game thinking, if we'd have got either of them, we could have won that game and we could have got through, especially Man United. And just a final thought, it was a lovely trip for me because it was just nice to be able to take my dad to one of these incredible games that we've been to in the past, rather than him taking me, paying for the tickets, driving me there. It was just a nice thing to give back to my dad. He's taken me to practically 3 decades of games at Bramall Lane, away games all over the country, to Wembley a few times, to the Millennium Stadium. Yes, fair enough, we've lost a lot of them, but he's driven me there. He's paid for the tickets when I was younger. He's just taken me to so many of these incredible places, and he didn't have to. And it was just nice to give something back to him. So I hope this video comes out the way I intended it to. It's not a bragging piece. It's not look how good the Prince or look how good Yusuf are. It's just something that I think that if somebody else, a blade like me, did, I would want to see that. And I've had loads of people on Twitter saying, how did it go? How did it go? Let us know. And I've sent a lot of messages, a lot of long-winded messages about this. So I thought it might be something that other blades might find interesting. So hopefully you have. Now, on to Wednesday. This is going up on the Tuesday just before our match preview. Hopefully we get that big old P next to our name on the league table and the Blades are promoted to the Premier League. Thanks for watching. See you next time.